Weiß Bescheid. Intendo.
Welcome to all Caribbean entrepreneurs. If you've been ready and waiting to take your business digital and get paid online while you sip something strong on the beach, this podcast is for you. We'll hear from the Caribbean's finest entrepreneurs on topics like e-commerce, business development, brand building, social media, their wins and failures. This is the only place in the region helping you navigate the digital age from the Caribbean's perspective. This is Digipreneur FM. And now, let's give it up for the Digiboss himself, Mr. Karan Rose.
Welcome, everybody, to the Digipreneur FM podcast. This is the place where Caribbean entrepreneurs come to learn how to navigate the digital age, build their presence online, and get paid. Doing it all while sipping something strong on the beach. Shout out to everybody that's been tuning into the podcast and getting all the information that they need to succeed during these times. This episode for today, we're going to be talking about how my business was able to generate, not just my business, but my side business, how my side business was able to generate $300K during the pandemic without $0 in ad spend. I know it sounds crazy, but it can be done. Well, I'm going to show you, I'm going to break down how I was able to do it. And it wasn't until the end of the year where I was just going through, my CRM to see, what platforms gave me the most traffic, what blogs generated the most revenue for me, because we can track anytime we put out content on our websites, we can track to see, what is getting the leads, what is leading to actual sales on our platforms. We can track all of those things, folks. We can track all of those things. So I'm going through everything, and then I get to the totals, and I'm like, wow, it didn't really hit me that this is what we did. This is the amount of money that passed through the website, because again, we're in Trinidad. So there are still people that, while you can, train your customers to pay you, via the website, there are still going to be those people that want to use other channels to pay you that don't come through the website. So when I looked and I seen that my website, 281K passed through the website alone, I was like, wow, because when we tallied up, the offline transactions, we were well over 300K, and that was my side business. That was Droid Island. Droid Island was able to do that, and it got almost no attention from me in 2020. The only thing I did, well, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what I did, but I spent no money on ads. I barely put out content on any of my social media platforms because my focus just has not been there for Droid Island for some time, especially during the pandemic, because I was getting asked about so much more than, what smartphone people want. I was focused on building the e-commerce side of the business. So the e-commerce coaching, helping people, build their digital presence, build their platforms, build their digital assets. So there was a lot that I was doing during that time period, but I just wasn't focused on Droid Island. So when we tallied up the numbers and we seen what Droid Island did, it was absolutely nothing amazing. And I did a post on it early in the year, and that to this day has been one of my most well-received posts on social media. It's a post that has gotten so much traction. There's been a lot of questions asked, and I knew there was going to be a point where I needed to dive deeper into it. But again, when life is happening at such a fast pace, it's just when. But now that we have the podcast, right? Now that we have the podcast, we got to drop a bomb for that. My IG fam is tuning in live right here, but we dropping a bomb on the podcast for the podcast folks, right? Now that we have Digipreneur FM, the podcast, this is the perfect place to take deep dives into a wide variety of topics. So without further ado, let's dive into how my side business generated $300K in a pandemic with no ad spend. So first things first, we got to acknowledge some stuff. When the pandemic hit, just like everyone else, I had no idea how this was going to affect me or what it would do for my business. There was even a thought process that I might possibly have to go on government support. Now, I am not somebody who I want to rely on anybody to give me anything. And this is no knock on anybody that has to go on government support or government assistance. This is no knock on nobody. I just have a problem with entity, a third-party entity, anything and anybody outside of me, controlling whether I eat or controlling what I can do. And I have to wait for a paycheck or have to wait for, financial aid to be given to me. So when the pandemic hit and those thoughts are crossing my mind, well, what if I have to do this? That to me was like worst case scenario. So I really got to thinking, what can I do during this time? Where is there a gap right now with all of my skill sets, all of my knowledge, everything that I know? What is happening? We know that it's lockdowns, people can't go outside, stores are closed, people can't move products to and fro. There's a struggle for people to get paid online. What skill sets of mine are going to shine through this time? What can I double down on? And I made a list of skill sets and things that I was, good at, but I could probably brush up on and do even better with. And the picture for me became clear, and I got to see, where the gaps are in our market. So I decided to double down on things like search engine optimization. So making sure that my platforms could be discovered on these search engines. One of the pros and cons to being in the Caribbean, big pro, is that the majority of your competition does not have a website. Your majority of your competition does not have a website. And even the ones that do they're not optimizing any of their platforms. And even when I've talked to companies about, rendering SEO services, most companies think that optimizing your website is a one-time thing. Like there's this magic button that says turn on SEO, boop, and your all of a sudden website is optimized to be found by all the pages. They don't know that SEO is a living, breathing, daily practice. What you have to create content. You have to do market research to know what people are searching for so that your content, you can create the right content or create the right product in order to be found. It's not this, magic button that you press and your platforms are all of a sudden optimized. So I doubled down on learning how to do SEO. And I really doubled down on how to do data research. How can I use the search engines, data sets, and how can I extract the data from platforms like Google, platforms like Bing, platforms like YouTube? How can I extract that data to get consumer information so I know what the right content is to create, I know how to optimize my websites correctly, and I know what products people are typically searching for so I could ensure to get the right products up on my website. That way I can build my organic traffic and I don't have to focus on doing paid ads. That gave me, now the data research, so doing more courses on data research and doing more courses on SEO, it gave me the exposure I needed to learn new tools, learn new strategies that would allow my content and my platforms to be even more discoverable than they were pre-pandemic when I've been doing my own search engine optimization for my platforms. I've built my own websites ever since I started in 2016. I've been doing that, but I never really focused on trying to specialize in it. And the pandemic really gave me that time to specialize in those things. So my focus was on building organic traffic. I kept up to date. So this is a big tip, right? I kept up to date with the highest search devices and highest search brands for technology, for smartphone technology. And I kept my Droid Island my Droid Island store up to date with all of the latest devices and devices that were being heavily searched for. So I utilize a variety of SEO tools. I'm looking at Trinidad. I'm looking for what devices are people searching for, right? Because typically every sale right now in the digital age starts with a Google search. Every sale starts with a Google search. Think of your own consumer habits. You have a problem. You want to learn about that problem. You want to learn a strategy. You want to learn what a solution or product or what service you need to fix what you're going through. And you jump on Google for that. And typically, whoever's on the first half of that first page is usually who gets the business right now. We don't really, you go to the second page if you're desperate, and I don't even know if Google has a third page. I've never gone there. So you typically want to ensure that you, as a business owner, are on that first page, because when somebody is searching for a solution to their problem, the business goes to the people that is on the first page. So I focused on building organic traffic, doing the data research to see what people are searching for. Once I knew what products people were searching for, then those are the ones, because there's hundreds of phones that are coming out. Phones are coming out, every single week at a ridiculous volume. And so it's a lot when you have to now, upload all of these products to your platform, because you got to upload, it might be one product, it might be one phone, but there's multiple variations of that phone. There's different colors, there's different storage sizes, then people want the cases. So there's a lot of information you have to put in to one product on your website. Now, as a one-man band, as much as I don't mind doing the hard work, man, you gotta work smart. You have to work smart, because if I were to, take every single product that my suppliers had and upload it to my website, I would never finish. I'd be uploading products 24/7. So my focus was on doing the research to see what exactly are people searching for, and the products that had the high volumes. I knew that, okay, one, if it's a high volume search in Trinidad, I definitely have to get those things up on the website. And then what I would do is, I've always paid attention to, which markets in the world have the highest volume sales for smartphones. So the number one market in the world is China, then it's India, then it's the US, right? So I would then look at those countries, and I would look to see what are the hot sellers in those particular phones. Not hot sellers. I would look for what are the devices that have the highest search volume in those countries. So if I know that Xiaomi is killing it in China, and that's the number one market, I'm also looking for which Xiaomi devices are the hot sellers. Because if it's hot in China, if it's hot in India, and if it's hot in the US, then there are going to be people in Trinidad who are following the smartphone news, and they're also going to be looking at those particular devices as well. So I made sure what had a high search volume here in Trinidad, and I made sure those are devices that had to get onto the website, and then what devices had the highest search volume in the main smartphone markets in the world, in China, in India, and the US, and I made sure that I got those devices on my website as well. So once I did that research, uploaded all the products, uploaded all the colors, got it optimized, so that way when you jump on Google and you're searching for, hey, you want the Huawei P40, then I come up on the first page that I have the device. When you were looking for the OnePlus 7T, you Google that, and I'm coming up on the first page. I'm getting the business. There's a huge thing about ensuring that your products and your business are discoverable on the search engine, because every single sale in the digital world now starts with a Google search. So the goal of every business, and if you are taking notes right now, or your eyes are closed and you're envisioning this, you're making sure that it sears in your brain, this is going to sizzle in your spirit. you need to ensure that as a business that you are on the other end of as many Google searches as possible. So you can easily do that when you learn how to do digital market research and you learn how to extract data on your audience, what they're searching for, what their gender is, what their age bracket is, what topics, what are the key things, the key words, what in your space has the high search volume. You can extract so much data, right? That goes into your marketing planning. And most businesses don't do this. And it's really because the type of person that is exposed to a lot of the tools and the strategies and the mindset needed to do this is a cross between a SEO specialist and a content marketer. If you are somebody who has gone onto platforms like Hubspot Academy, SEMRush Academy, AHrefs Academy, a lot of the new courses coming out surrounding SEO or content marketing is because they've blended these courses. So now you have people who were SEO specialists that are accustomed to utilizing tools that extract data, and content marketing, that mindset and those strategies where you're taking that data that you're extracting and you're turning it into a strategy, and they go hand in hand. SEO specialist, content marketer. If you go on HubSpot Academy, if you go on SEMRush Academy, you're going to see the SEO and content marketing, those courses. And I advise anybody to take them. So I did a lot of those courses. I started to specialize and get certified in search engine optimization and content marketing because I wanted to learn about how can I take the data of my consumers from these search engines, turn it into strategy, and aid in optimizing my websites. That way, my business is on the first page of as many Google searches as possible, right? So again, if you are interested in specializing in SEO, or if you're interested in specializing in content marketing, you want to go and check out HubSpot Academy, SEMRush Academy, AHrefs, which is AHrefs. AHrefs. You could check out the AHrefs Academy and start doubling down on SEO courses and content marketing courses. That way you can learn how to extract data and get and create the right content on your websites that are found on page one. Because again, I'm saying it again, so it sizzles in your spirit, so you really, understand this. The businesses that are on the other end of as many Google searches as possible are the ones that build the trust. They are the ones that get the business. So if I am constantly Googling, hey, top 5 phones, all of a sudden Droid Island comes up. Hey, I want to purchase the OnePlus 7T, Droid Island comes up. Hey, I want to, how do I, insert a SIM card into my phone? And Droid Island has if you just keep seeing this one brand coming up in all of your searches, then you as the consumer, that is where the trust gets built. That is where the trust gets built. So just imagine now, if you knew from the data all of the questions that people are asking, that guides your content marketing strategy. Now you know exactly what content to create based on the data, and you know what products and services they want, so you can now implement them within your business. All right? The other thing I did was 2020, I got deadly with building my personal brand. 2020, I got deadly with building my personal brand. It was Karen Rose everywhere. Listen, you needed to learn about e-commerce, Karen Rose. You needed to learn about getting paid online, Karen Rose. You needed to learn about how to build your digital platforms, Karen Rose. You needed to learn, what is the secret recipe for Aunt Jemima's syrup? It was Karen Rose you were asking, because he would extract the data to figure out what that recipe, what the secret ingredients in that syrup was. I could even tell you what the spices are in KFC. I could extract that data too. So, again, SEO specialist and content marketing, I focused on building my personal brand. So I created a lot of content that was helping people build their digital presence, build their platforms. I created a ton of content. Listen, the content did not stop with me. It was a content factory. I just had content coming out of the conveyor belt. Why was it easy for me to do? Because when you're learning how to extract the data, you always have content because there's a million things to talk about. There's a million things that your audience is asking. And because in the Caribbean, most businesses and most people do not have a website, that's blue ocean for me. You have next to no competition. There's nobody to compete with. There is nobody to compete with. You're in the Caribbean, people don't have websites. Now is the time to have a website. Now is the time to start putting out content on your website. When you're putting out, here's the difference between putting out content on your website versus putting out content on social media. Google, Bing, they scan your websites. They send something called crawlers. They scan your website. They understand what it is, and they're a big index. They are a big index, or they are a digital index. So they know exactly what is on your page once it's optimized correctly. They file it away in their index, bloop. And then anytime someone types in the right query or the right question, Google and Bing know exactly which page to deliver to you as a result. If you've done your research properly for keywords on videos as well for YouTube, then because YouTube is a search engine as well, Google will serve those particular videos as well. But if you look, the majority of the results is links to websites. You do not ever see a link that goes to a specific post on Instagram. You do not see a link that goes to a post on LinkedIn. You do not see a link that goes to a post on Facebook, because social media is not indexable like that. What is indexable in social media is typically the keywords that you have in your bio. So if you have content marketer in your bio, there's a chance where you could show up for content marketer, your Instagram bio. Also, your name in your social media is indexable as well. So if someone types in your name, that's why all of your social media pages show up, because your name is also indexable by the search engines. So your social media handles will pop up with your name, right? So if every sale starts with a Google search, then it only makes sense for you to build content on platforms that are searchable via Google. Because we cannot go on social media. We cannot go on Instagram and say, hey, what's the secret recipe for KFC? We ain't getting nada. We ain't getting nothing. Nada. Right? But if I Google what are the secret herbs and spices for KFC, I could see a laundry list of conspiracy theories. Right? I'll get results. The point is I'll get results, right? Social media is not a search engine. Social media is not a search engine. The goal of your search engine is to index and scan every single website. The goal of the search engines is to scan every single website and index it. That way, when a query or a question comes in on Google, on Bing, on Yahoo, they know where to go in their index and what to serve up to you. And they're getting a heck of a lot better at understanding the context of your queries. The beautiful thing about the search engines as well is the geolocation. So it is always going to show you what is in your country first. What are the results in your country first before it showcases anything on the outside? So when people ask me, do I need a website? If I'm just listing products, do I need a website? I could just use social media. Listen, you could do that if you want and don't make no money, or limit the amount of money that you make, right? It should be that if I'm selling skincare products, I should be doing my digital research to know exactly what are the top skincare issues that are in my country. Then I should have a blog talking about those skincare issues. And even if it's not a full-out written blog and you do a video and you embed the video on your website, right? Or you have it uploaded on YouTube, because YouTube's a search engine as well, and then you embed the YouTube video on your website. That way you get a double whammy of discoverability, because you have Google and Bing and the search engines indexing your website. So your video is embedded on the website, right? And then you have it also on YouTube, which is a search engine. You should know all of the top skincare issues in your country. You should then create the right blogs or the right podcast episode or the right video addressing the skincare issues. And then there should be a direct link to your product or solution that solves the issue that you're talking about. Poof, mind blown. But when we do it on social media is for us to be social. Social media is for us to build that community. Social media is for us to do the behind the scenes, put out content, but it's not searchable on the search engines. How many of you listening to this podcast right now, how many of you realistically, unless you're stalking somebody, how many of you scroll down weeks of posts on somebody's Instagram feed? How many of you guys actually scroll weeks of posts on Instagram? I don't. Facebook, even worse. I'm not scrolling on Facebook. I'm not scrolling on Facebook. If I go to your page, I just want to see your business information. I hope to God you have a Facebook shop so I can click on the shop, see all your products and services, and then organize myself. LinkedIn, I'm not scrolling on LinkedIn either. All right? I go to Google and I Google. And whoever comes up on the first page gets my business. All right? So if I have been obsessed, the cameras are on me a little bit more now, so I got to make sure my skin looks good. I got to make sure my beard looks good. So I'm constantly looking for, what is the best skincare routine for men? What are the good soaps, the facial soaps? What stuff do I need to groom myself and look good so when I show up on camera I look half decent? And the people who show up on the first page that says, hey, if you're a man and your face is, oily or it's greasy or you have acne, this type of soap, this charcoal soap, this is great for, men of color. I'm reading that blog. And if it really educates me, if I feel enlightened after that blog, if you were able to give me value for free, well, the rule of reciprocity exists. If you give me, I'm going to give you. So if you're giving me information and you're educating me on how my skin can glow, then I'm going to buy your products. I'm going to buy your products. If you're giving me information, then I am going to buy your products. And the information has to be good. It can't be no, hush posh. It's got to be good. So, we're talking how my business generated $300K in a pandemic, right? So, I started off with, looked at my skills, seeing where the gap was in my own skill set. I decided that, I needed to brush up on learning SEO, search engine optimization, so I could optimize my content. I also needed to learn how to properly do better data market research so I could extract all of the data from the search engines so I could turn it into content. So I also understand my audience, see what the top devices were that people were looking for in my country, look at the top markets in the world selling smartphones, see what were the products that had the highest search volumes over there, and ensure that my website had those products and optimized on it. Because if it's one thing I will tell you guys is that web traffic equals opportunities. So the more traffic that comes to your platforms is the more opportunities that your business has to sell to clients. And when they come, they got to like what they see, right? So you got to have a nice, good looking, easy to use website that's not taking a million years to load up. You got to make sure that your website is up to date, that the products that you do have are all in stock, right? Make sure your products are in stock, all right? Focus on ensuring that your brand is discoverable. Now, when people hear the word SEO, they tend to think of what SEO meant, 3+ years ago, 5+ years ago, where SEO, search engine optimization, was this extremely technical thing. And in 2021, SEO now is all about discoverability. Learning how to get the right data, learning how to optimize your websites and your YouTube page so that it can be found. SEO equals discoverability. The more research that you do, so the more courses you do on SEO and you get involved in the tools that extract the data, and you're taking those content marketing courses, so you're learning how to take that data and turn it into a strategy, and then you're creating the right content on your platforms, then you have it optimized, and now it can be discovered on the search engines. More traffic equals more opportunities, right? The higher chance of your brand and business, your products and services are going to be discoverable on the search engines. And again, as we said, the businesses, every business, their goal should be to be on the other end of as many Google searches as possible. So everything that people are typing into Google within your space, we should be seeing you on that first page answering those people's questions. All right? So now, I got a lot of business simply because nobody knew my competitors existed. And people would ask me, hey, you know what? Okay, I want to buy this product. Do you know anybody else that has it? I'm not telling you. I'm not doing my competitor's job. If my competitors have not done their due diligence to make sure that their products and services are found, I'm not doing their job. So if a customer asks me, do I know anybody else selling this? No, I don't know, right? But I got a lot of business simply because when people Googled, I was the only person selling phones that people were particularly looking for. Plenty of people selling the phones, but they have no website. They're not searchable. So, unless you know their name and go on their Facebook page and scroll through all of their posts to see their latest product list, who's doing that? Right? Customers ain't doing that. Unless they see it by happenstance, customers ain't going and scrolling through your feed on Facebook to go look for your price list. We're going to Google the specific phone that we want. And if you show up, then that is what we want to go and buy. So I got a ton of business simply because my competitors were not able to be found by the consumers. And people just had to deal with me. Now, one of the reasons what made Droid Island super profitable is because I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I mean, you guys know me. If you guys have been tuning into my content for some time, you guys kind of know me. I tell all. I want you guys to win. The more you guys win, I win too, right? So the reason why Droid Island for me was always profitable is because I have no expenses for Droid Island. I don't have a physical store. I got rid of it back in 2018. I barter with my hosting provider. So I used to pay $5 a month for hosting. I barter with my host, so I don't pay hosting fees anymore. And most importantly, you guys ready? You guys ready for this key? You guys ready? You ready for this key? Drop shipping. I saved a heck of a lot of money by switching to drop shipping. Where's the Geico lizard when I need him? Save 100% of your car insurance by switching to Geico. I need something like that. I need the gecko to come and say something like that for me. I saved. Listen, when I had my physical store, man, I was spending upwards of 40, 50K because you had the physical store. You have electricity you have to pay. You got the AC that you have to maintain. You have to buy the products and bring the products in and stock them. The minute I closed my store and I started to focus on content marketing, the minute I closed the store and I started to put all of the products on my website and I turned my blog website into an e-commerce platform that had all of the products listed and there was a payment processor on the website so you could add to cart and purchase, business became really profitable because now I don't stock anything. So put this into perspective now, right? I'm doing the research, finding out what are the hottest selling phones, what are the hottest the highest searched phones. I'm ensuring those products are on my website. That way, if I know that these phones have a high search volume, they're listed, there's a very good chance that people are going to search for it. They're going to see my products, go to my page and add to cart and order. I'm not paying a store rental fee, right? I'm only online. I barter for my hosting fees, so I have no hosting fees to pay. And I drop ship. I do not stock any of the products. So once people go to my website and order their phone, I get paid up front. Drop a bomb for that. My IG fam is looking like, what drop? What bomb? Got to drop a bomb for the podcast fam, though. Drop shipping changed everything for me because now I'm not stocking no products. I have no overheads. Droid Island just ran itself. The only thing I needed to do was ensure that the website was live and ensure that I did my homework on what people were looking for, uploaded the product information to the platform, make sure it was discoverable, and once people were finding it, then I would just wake up to new order emails. And because drop shipping is a fulfillment method where you don't stock the products, so you take the money up front for the products. Once people place their order, then you order from your suppliers and have it shipped out to them. Or in my case, what I did was, here in Trinidad, it's a bit sticky because we're on an island, we have to use skybox companies and yada, yada, yada. Not everybody has a skybox, right? So what I would do, so typical drop shipping means that you, as your business, you take your marketing, you're doing all the marketing and you're taking all the payments, right? And then your drop shipping partner would handle the logistics. So they would receive the order and they ship out the product directly to the consumer. That's how drop shipping typically works. But I have to do a modified version of drop shipping because I'm in Trinidad. So what I would do is once the orders come in, right, I'm paid. I done got my money, cha-ching, cash out, right? I got my money. I would then place the order with my supplier, and they would send it to my skybox in Miami. And the skybox partner would then deliver it to my house. The minute a product is delivered to my house, I jump on to my local courier, Sped, jump onto Sped's website, create a request to send a courier to come to my house and pick up. They send a courier. The courier collects the device, and then they go deliver it anywhere within Trinidad and Tobago. I create the request digitally. The courier comes, collect the device, deliver the product anywhere in Trinidad and Tobago. And I've been paid already. I have no overheads. All I'm doing is putting in time to upload the products and time to do the research. All right? So at the end of 2020, when I looked at the website and I see in my CRM that we had over 280K in sales through the website, I was like, wow. And then when we tallied up everything, all the offline transactions, people who were making just direct transfers to me, and we were well over 300K. I was like, this is what I imagine. This is what, I really imagine digital entrepreneurship being about. Being able to sit in my room, create a website, doing research on what people are looking for, ensuring that the products are on my website and that they are discoverable. They have the right keywords. I have the right products on the website. I'm using the right keywords. My pages are optimized so they're found. I spent no money, zero, nada. I spent no money on ads for Droid Island in 2020. I spent none. All I worked on was organic traffic. And the beautiful thing about organic traffic, after the average post on social media lasts 48 hours. After 48 hours, that thing's dead. Organic traffic is evergreen. And as long as you have done the homework and you have used the right keywords, you've done the homework to know exactly what to create, and you've created the right service, the right product, the right headline, right? As long as you've done that homework, then it doesn't matter when people are going to be searching. People can search. Listen, if I pull up my Google Analytics and my Google data, there are blogs I did in 2017 that are still the highest viewed page, or the page is generating the highest traffic on my website in 2021. Because that topic was so good and it's still relevant. People are still searching for it, even though I wrote that blog back years ago. Social media does not work like that. Social media has its place, but understand, as a business owner, you want organic traffic. The more organic traffic you can build to your platforms, people are going to be consuming your content from now till thy kingdom come. Which brings me to the next thing. When I went and looked on looking through my Google Analytics, my Google Search Console, I looked at how much impressions we generated on the Google search engine for both Droid Island and both my personal branded website, KarenRose.com. Because remember, the more Karen Rose grows and people know that I own Droid Island, and I'm talking about Droid Island, or it's in my bio because I didn't really talk too much about it, but it was in my bio, the more people are finding me and they're finding out what I do, then I'm a natural traffic driver to my business website. So this is why when people say, do you have to build a personal brand and a business brand? Do you have to do them separately? I mean, you don't have to. But if you want to generate opportunities from a wide variety of different areas, because the opportunities that Karen Rose is going to generate is completely different than what Droid Island is going to generate. But because it's one and the same, they both feed into each other. So the more Karen Rose grows, then the more Droid Island is going to grow naturally. So that's another reason, that's a big reason I did not have to spend money on advertising for Droid Island, because people are finding me over on everything I'm doing with Karen Rose. Oh, this guy also, he has a smartphone business? Well, let me go check it out. Oh, well, I'm just going to buy from him because I trust him. I don't know these other folks. And then we're in lockdown, so I can't even buy from some of these other people because they're not online. They're not taking payments online. They're not delivering. This guy is only online, and I trust him. So Karen Rose, the brand, generated tons of traffic for Droid Island as well. So when I looked at my Google Analytics, when I looked at my Google Search Console, and I seen how are my two websites performing on the Google search engine, my website generated just under 1 million impressions on Google search. And an impression is the reason why impressions are very important on Google search, and they're okay on social media, but it's two different things. An impression on social media is somebody, quote unquote, sees your post, right? So that could mean that somebody was scrolling And while they scrolled, your post was, it was a part of that scroll. They didn't even stop. They just scrolled. So they scrolled past your post. That counts as an impression on social media. The difference in why impressions are so valuable over on for your website is in order for your website, in order for a link or a blog or a page or a product to get an impression on the search engines, somebody had to do an action. Somebody had to type something into Google. Somebody had to type something into Bing. So imagine the more that somebody types in, remember, like I said earlier, the goal of every business is to be on the other end of a Google search. So if somebody's typing in all these different questions and your websites keep coming up, those are impressions. So my 2 websites generated just under a hair, like a couple thousand, under 1 million impressions on the search engines for 2020. The more traffic, the more people are going to see your brand, it generates the more opportunities for your brand. It builds trust in your brand. If I just keep seeing it all over the place, and I keep seeing it because I'm searching for, I'm typing in questions related to your space. How do I do a SIM swap? Who is the best telecoms provider? What are the top 5 phones right now? If I just keep seeing your brand answering all these questions, it builds trust. If I keep searching for products, imagine I watch a top tech YouTuber, and he names 5 products. And every time I Google those 5 products to see who has them in Trinidad, all I see is this one guy, Droid Island. And I'm just going to assume that apparently this is the only guy selling phones in Trinidad. And so the more impressions your brand is able to generate on Google means that somebody took an action. Somebody typed in a query in order to generate a page from your website or a product from your website. And when you're the only one that's showing up, people are going to go and visit, and they're going to add to cart, and they're going to buy. The other thing you can do is you can implement a CRM. So for marketing purposes, now there are a wide variety of CRMs, right? So I use a customer relationship management tool called Hubspot. So I've integrated Hubspot onto my website, and Hubspot tracks a ton of activity on my website. So when people subscribe to my website, HubSpot is going to track, where did these people come from? Did they come from Google? Did they come from Bing? Did they come from Yahoo? Did they come from Instagram? Did they come from Facebook? Did they come from LinkedIn? It's tracking where these people came from. It's also tracking what was the first point of contact. Was it a blog that they seen? And then we can see which blogs is generating the most subscribers to your platform. HubSpot's also tracking the revenue to your website. So if you have e-commerce set up and you got HubSpot integrated, it can track which people are generating the most revenue for you. And then when you're generating reports, you can see which piece of content is generating the most revenue. So if this one blog is what is getting found constantly on the search engines, and people are clicking through to your website, so that is the blog bringing people to your platform, and then they watch another blog, HubSpot's tracking that, and then it leads to them going to your products and adding to cart and sale, and you get a sale. HubSpot's going to track the revenue as well, and it's also going to show you that, hey, this is the blog that the attribution can be given to. This is the blog that led to that sale. This is the platform that led to that sale. And you could generate those reports anytime you want and look at it month over month to see what is working for you. Many of you think, well, I don't use Instagram, so I don't use Facebook, because I don't like Facebook. But when you have these things installed onto your platforms, and you're looking at what's generating the most subscribers or what's generating the most revenue, and you look and see Facebook is the one that people are coming from the most, then you got to get over your own bias. And that's the one thing that data does. Data gets rid of your bias. A lot of you guys think that, Facebook is this or LinkedIn is that. But then when you are putting out your content, you build your platforms and you're tracking the activities and where things are coming from, the data tells you a completely different story. For my clients, when we sit down and we look and we're like, people have told me they don't like using Facebook. It's too gossipy. It's fast book. They don't like it. But then when we look at the end of the day and we look at the data, you're getting most of your leads from Facebook. Right? So folks, focus, and I'm going to stress on this. I want you guys to focus alongside, building your website, building your business, I want you guys to focus on building your personal brand as well. Because they can play very well together, right? They can play very well together. Your personal brand can generate leads for you. Your personal brand can get you in rooms that your business can't. Because even if somebody doesn't buy the product from you, people can reach out and ask you, hey, I want to interview you because I want to talk to you about how you built that business. I want you to show me how you were able to build that business. Can we do some courses on how you were able to do that? So your personal brand will allow you to do things that your business brand can't. So food for thought. And so just want to quickly recap. All right. Focus on, if there's one thing I would say, double down on going on to Hubspot Academy, SEMRush Academy, Google Digital Garage. Start taking the content marketing and SEO tools, because the SEO courses are going to expose you to tools that are going to extract data from the search engines. That's going to give you greater insights into your audience. When you know exactly what the pain points are of your audience, you can now create more aligned content. You can figure out what products, what services they're looking for. It's almost like taking a test and you already have the answers. So when you extract all the data, you see what services they're looking for, what products they're looking for, what are their pain points, and you know exactly what type of content to create to lure people back to your platform so that you can build trust with them. They come back to your website, right? I stress on having a website, ensuring that you have the right integrations, ensuring you have your Google Search Console set up so you can track how your website is performing on the search engines, ensuring that you have your Google Analytics set up, making sure you have a CRM. You could use something like a HubSpot so you could track where these people are coming from, what platforms are working for you, who is generating the money for you, what content is generating the money for you, and you could tie everything all in together. Focus on building your personal brand. Your personal brand is going to get you into doors that your business might not be able to get into. And when you put all of those things together, you're going to start to build organic traffic to your platforms. And the more organic traffic that you can build is the more opportunities you're going to create for your business. And the more opportunities that you get to be in front of your client, it's a numbers game at that point. You increase the percentage of more people coming to your platform to purchase and convert. That's what I did last year. And that's what allowed me to spend no money on advertising. All I simply did was kept ahead of the curve and kept abreast for what the audience in the country wanted. They wanted this. High search volumes, got it on my website. Looked at the top selling smartphone markets, see what were the high search volumes for products in those countries, got it on my website. Built my personal brand, made sure I created the content that was aligned, that people actually wanted. That generated more views on the search engines. More people came to my platforms, and I had a higher number of people that purchased products on Droid Island. That is how my brand was able to generate over $300K in a pandemic last year without spending a penny. Folks, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Digipreneur FM. please drop a rating if you enjoyed this podcast. Leave a comment. I love seeing the comments. I love seeing the reviews. Make sure you guys follow me everywhere on social media. I'm at Karen Rose everywhere. And if you guys want to Google me, I'm very Googleable. Karen Rose, and you're going to see all of my platforms. Thank you very much. See you guys in the next episode. Take care!
You've been listening to the Digiboss, Karen Rose. We hope your notepad was filled after this episode. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. The learning doesn't stop, folks. And to make sure you don't miss any gems from the Digiboss, go over and follow him on all social media platforms at Karen Rose. Folks, don't just sit there with a notepad. We need you to implement at least one thing into your business before the next episode. That's the only way your business levels up. Thanks for listening to Digipreneur FM. Now go be great.